Heskelholt, Thuisquest, Margot Hill. Hello everyone, I'm Margot Hill and I'm here. I just wanted to provide you a little bit of a workshop on how to apply for scholarships for Native students. So now is the time that all of you should have applied to college. Now there's going to be announcements about scholarships and deadlines are coming due pretty quickly. So I just wanted to get some information out to you. I'm going to go ahead and walk through, applying for scholarships, what to expect, what you'll get back from your FAFSA, all those kind of things. I'm Auntie Margot, and I'm just here to share information. I have kids in college right now, and I have a daughter who's a senior. So I wanted just to give you some basic tips and tools on things that translate for Native students. So I'm a professor at Eastern Washington University, and I work for CERTCOM, Small Urban Rural Tribal Center on Mobility, and we do all things transportation, and we help tribes and provide technical assistance. So I thought, why not provide some technical assistance to our Native students? I'm a Spokane tribal citizen. I grew up on the reservation out in Wellpinit and went to Wellpinit High School all my career. And so I kind of have, I've lived through this. I went to the community college to start with, and then the university, and then I earned my Juris Doctorate. So I just wanted to share with you some things. Why go to college? Why do you want to go to college? Well, one of the main reasons is just to get a better job, maybe to make a difference for your community, to have choices, essentially be able to decide what you do every day. And, maybe it's not college, maybe a vocation, a vocational tech school is good for you. There's lots of things. We need tribal folks in the trades industry. We need carpenters, electricians, plumbers. We need mechanics. All those things are really important. So this workshop can be helpful for you as well, but the primary focus is college. And so I'm going to talk to you a little bit about, thinking about which colleges you might want to attend. Again, you want to find out what the requirements are for the college. I know a lot of deadlines are coming up. They are extending a little bit deadlines for another month since there's a lot of things going on. When you're thinking about college, you want to think about the cost. Don't worry so much about your GPA, but for a lot of schools that does matter. Your SAT, your ACT, that kind of testing. I know this year they're bypassing some of that testing. Again, there are lots of options and alternatives to college. You can think about, trade and vocational schools, but there's also, the community college and, of course, the university. As I mentioned, I'm a professor, associate professor at Eastern Washington University. I teach in the urban planning program. So applying for college, not a lot of us have money, so you can ask for waivers. When you're applying to college, sometimes there's fees. You can ask for waivers for your college application fees, your test fees. Many of us come from low-income families, so don't hesitate to do that. First, many of you should have completed your FAFSA. If you haven't, that's okay. That's your free application for federal student aid, your FAFSA. You will have to create a PIN. Your parents will have a PIN, and you can help them do that. And, of course, that's at www.fafsa.ed.gov. This is free. Don't be tricked into, sometimes if you go on the wrong website, you fill in all the information, then they want to charge you like $85. I've done that. Don't fall for that. Get your it's a free financial aid, so you can check in with your scholarship, your financial aid office at the university. You're going to need just a couple of things. You're going to need your parents' tax return, or at least their income, and then so check in with your parents. We're in the month of February, so we're looking at February and March. Once you fill out your FAFSA, and again, that's the free online federal aid application, you will receive an SAR from them. That's a student aid report. Again, just follow the directions to make any changes and return the form. It's a little bit of back and forth, but pay attention. Pay attention to your emails. We've had students that didn't check their emails, so make sure that you're checking your emails. You should be getting acceptance letters to your colleges, to your school of choice by now. Contact your tribal education office. Ask about when the applications are coming out and when the applications are due. Tribal applications will also require you to apply for at least 2 scholarships. So you're going to have to apply for scholarships anyway. Deadlines are serious. Tribal deadlines, university deadlines, funding agencies, and scholarship deadlines. So, take these serious. If it has a certain day, we all have our phones. Put it in your phone. Make sure that you have the deadlines and you know that that's a hard deadline. So finding money for college. I'm going to give you some tips. I'm going to give you some scholarships, but you can reach out to the college you're going to attend to reach out to that college financial aid office. And especially if even this is even after you get your funding letter. If your family is having particularly hard circumstances, let them know. You can tell them about your financial situation. You can ask for special consideration. Explain to them, hey, my parent is a single mom or a single dad. We've had medical bills. We've had financial hardships. If there's something particularly to COVID, in my house, we've had like 8 or 9 people in my house. So there's a lot of pressures on our houses. So maybe even if your parents lost their home or something, those are all things that you should be explaining directly to the financial aid office. After you've applied for your FAFSA, you've returned your SAR, then think about, as a parent or a student, write a letter to the financial aid office. Sometimes the universities have additional funds, or even the community colleges have additional funds, or they'll help you go find the money. Just write a letter explaining your circumstances. I did this, when my son was at the university, I went ahead and wrote a letter to the financial aid office, and they got additional funding. I had multiple kids in college, and so it was kind of hard. Again, I had my own student loans and from law school and different things, so don't hesitate to ask for a little bit of help. There is lots of scholarship money. Even if you don't have the greatest GPA, at my school, I didn't have the greatest GPA. I wasn't the valedictorian or salutatorian, but there is money out there. There's scholarships that nobody applies for that, so they don't even get paid out. I'm going to give you some specific scholarships. I'm going to give you some tips. One place you might look, nativepartnership.org. It provides a guide, a tool for success. Look for scholarships that aren't just for natives. Rural America scholarships. One of my Latina friends applied for that, and it was questioned whether she was rural. But there's Daughters of the American Revolutionary War. Maybe write an essay. Maybe do a video. There's all kinds of fun projects that you can do to apply for scholarships. It's not just writing essays, although that's what we're going to talk about today. So you want to get together your documents. There's some basic documents that you're going to need. For tribal kids, you want your tribal ID or your certificate of Indian blood, CIB. Even descendants can get a certificate of Indian blood from the tribe if your parent is enrolled and if you're not. The second thing you'll need is a copy of your transcripts and a photo and your personal profile. So you're going to put together a little personal profile, which is basically a list of your awards, a list of your achievements, maybe any of the sports you participated in, your extracurricular activities. And as we go through, I'll give you more examples of that. Where you volunteered, any tribal involvement, special things you do at the tribe. And you're going to have these on a thumb drive. Just put them on a thumb drive so you have them ready to go. We're going to apply for multiple scholarships. And so if you have them on a thumb drive, then you're just plug it in and you pop it in, right? Your tribal ID, your transcripts, a photo, your personal profile. You can cut and paste these into a Word document. If you're writing essays, I highly recommend that you put them in a Word document. You do use spell check. And then you can also use these to answer future scholarship essays. So once you get organized and get all these things together, it makes it really easy and you can apply for 2 or 3 scholarships at a time. So list of achievements. There's going to be standard list of achievements that all of mainstream society uses. Maybe it's an honor roll, or if you're at the college already, maybe the Dean's Honor Roll. At Eastern, we have EWU Dean's Honor Roll, and you list fall and winter quarter. If you did a sport, if it's like Meade High School wrestling team, put varsity second, varsity two. Maybe you're the most valuable wrestler. So these are some examples that I've helped my kids. My son was a wrestler. He got most inspirational wrestler. So list those things. It shows that you're a team player, that you're participating in the school activities. If you were student of the month, other things, future business leaders of America, future farmers of America, all those things are things that you can list. Running start, even if you took a couple classes or your AP classes, list those. It just shows that you did extra work. Any STEM classes, that just shows that you did extra work. Again, there's lots of sports activities that we typically as natives, we participate in. Basketball, if you were the team captain, show that. That's leadership. Football, cross country, color guard, marching band. Also list some of your traditional activities. If you're a traditional grass dancer, or if you were the head man or head male dancer at a powwow, maybe you are on the tribal youth council. Maybe you do dance or piano. All of those things are things that you think about listing on your scholarship application. Northwest Indian Youth Conference, maybe you were part of a workshop presentation, list that. American Indian Science and Engineering Society, and I highly recommend ACES to go and look. They have lots of scholarships. There are also volunteer activities that you can consider listing. We do lots of things in our tribal communities, and it demonstrates that you're connected to our tribal communities. Maybe you volunteered at the Longhouse, whether it was baking cakes or drying salmon or drying deer meat. Maybe there were tribal ceremonies that you participated in. If you went and got wood for elders, I brought wood to elders, I chopped wood, you brought deer meat. You know, we have a lot of tribal cultural practices. Like when we get our first deer, our young person takes that deer meat and gives it to tribal elders. We give things away. If you helped carve a tribal canoe, list that. Paddle on the canoe journey. If you helped with a school powwow or tribal powwow. If you wrote an article on a tribal issue, list that. You know, you can have a little publications area. If you organized a panel or you brought speakers to your high school, those are all things that you can list as part of your volunteer, your tribal involvement. Maybe you volunteered during Culture Week. You helped get the petsas, the root diggers, and maybe you dried deer meat or set up with the hide tanning class. Or for if you're Coeur d'Alene, you were part of the water potato gathering forum. So just think about those things. Maybe you did a presentation at the Salish Conference. You know, the Kalispel tribe has been hosting our Salish Conference, and a lot of you young people have done skits over the years. You know, so there's a lot of different things that you can think about naming. If you volunteered with a Native Student Club fundraiser, you guys sold Indian tacos. Again, that shows effort and that you have a work ethic, those little things. If you help make traditional outfits for your family or for other kids, list that as part of your tribal cultural skills and knowledge or your tribal involvement. Maybe you're tutoring other Native kids. These are all things that we do in Indian country all the time, but we don't think about listing it. You know, in mainstream society, they're talking about Eagle Scouts and Cub Scouts. We don't always have that, but we have a lot of other activities that really tell the readers that you're involved in your tribal community. Some of the parts of the scholarship application are going to ask you to tell a little bit about yourself, to tell your story. And you want to talk about the struggles and tell them how you've overcome obstacles. This shows your strength and your your perseverance. Maybe you're the first one in your family to go to college. Maybe you were raised by your grandparents. maybe you have a parent that's passed away, or is out of your home, addicted to drugs, or maybe they've gone to jail. In some cases, that happened to me. And we're not being pitiful. We're just telling a little bit of a story. We're demonstrating that we have strength and resilience even if we face hard times. Indian people, we go through a lot, and it makes us stronger. And when you're telling the scholarship reader that, they can see that you've had to overcome some obstacles. And again, it's not being pitiful. I mean, if you had to live with relatives, then you had to live with relatives. In my house, I grew up in a trailer house in Welpinit, and at times I think there was 12 people living with us. Because it's because of the land tenure, we don't have adequate housing on the reservation, and that tells a story. If your family has moved 3 or 4 times in 4 years, that's a lot of challenges for kids to go to different schools, whether you're here in Spokane or you're at different reservations. These are challenges that we are dealing with. Maybe you come from a single parent household. Maybe you're economically disadvantaged. Again, it's not being pitiful. It's say we're living on less. So letters of recommendation. You will need to have 1 or 2 letters of recommendation. You can ask your school counselor or a teacher, but you want to give them some information. You want to provide them with your personal profile. That's what I was talking to you about before. Your list of activities, your list of your academic accomplishments, and your volunteer work. Provide that for them. When you ask them for a letter of recommendation, you give them the name of the scholarship, the email where it's submitted, the deadline, and then give them your personal profile. A lot of the people that we're asking to provide letters of recommendation are really busy. So maybe you can draft an outline for them, just saying, I've known this person 2 years or 4 years or however long they've known you. Maybe tell them some of the things that you're doing in your tribal community. People want to know that we're connected to our tribal community. So if you work with the powwow committee or the royalty committee, or you've served as royalty for a particular tribe, list that, because that's important. And with the personal profile, you want to list your accomplishments. Is this counselor or teacher familiar with your accomplishments? You're not bragging. You're just giving them the information to make it easier for them to provide the letter. So again, give them the information about the scholarship. There's going to be lots of questions. The Cobell Scholarship, they might ask, what are your short and long-term goals? And you can say, maybe I'm in running start program, and I'm earning college credits. I want to, obtain, and you don't have to know everything you want to do. You can just say, I want to go to college and earn my bachelor's degree in anthropology or in history or in math. I want to be a teacher. You don't have to know everything you want to do, but just say, I want to go to college and earn my bachelor's degree. Some of them will ask you questions about what you're good in, your academic strengths. You can say, I work hard, I'm good in both mathematics and English, or, I struggle in English, or I'm working to get a good grade, or I've been visiting colleges. Just tell them a little bit about the research you're doing on how you picked your college. That shows you took initiative, you're doing the homework. What are your academic strengths? I work really hard at school, again, math, English, humanities, and nobody's good at everything. I'm not good at math. I really struggle. I barely got through just some of the basic college math, but you can do it, right? You can say, I go to the library and I work hard to get my assignment done. And I focus until my assignment's done. You can say, yes, I'm busy with sports, but I always budget my time to do my homework. You're just showing that you have discipline and that you're willing to work hard. They'll ask you again, other questions for scholarships, which subjects have challenged you academically? Have you had to overcome any educational barriers? Again, you can talk about English or math, maybe calculus or something that's really hard, a lab. You can say that I went to a math tutor 3 or 4 times. I figured out how to do the problem. Again, that shows you're overcoming obstacles and you're meeting challenges. I keep working till I get my assignments done. And I did most of it with my own notes or whatever, however you accomplish things. Other questions that might come up as part of the scholarship application. Education choices that you have made that have led you to your current choice of study. Maybe what's your definition of leadership, your current and past experience of leadership. Who has been a role model? What has your education taught you about your leadership style? So there's all kinds of random questions. They might ask you about your tribal community. Maybe you live in the city. You have an urban community. You can talk about the Native Project or the American Indian Community Center. I went and volunteered at the food bank. Or we have a urban Indian basketball team. We play 3-on-3 hoop fest teams, or whatever it is you're doing. Maybe it was an AAU team you were playing on, but just some kind of tribal connection. We travel to powwows. Even when we live in the city, we're still very connected to our reservation. We go back to our tribal communities for ceremonies, for dinners. We do all those things at the Longhouse, and that shows that demonstrates our connectedness to our tribal communities. So think about the extracurricular activities, and some of the questions might be take a little minute to think about. Reach out. We've got tribal mentors at all of the universities and colleges. Email them. You can email me, ask me. I'll give you some ideas. Some other quick examples of questions. Describe your life 5 years after completing your degree. Again, you don't know what you're going to do, but what do you think you might be doing? Do you want to go back to work for your tribe? You don't have to, but if you choose to, what might that look like? Are you going to be working with Indian kids if you're going to be a teacher or a counselor? There's a whole range of opportunities that you can do. What do you believe are critical cultural needs and the issues of American Indian community? You can talk about your education, about any research you want to do, things that you might want to make a difference. Maybe you want to be a teacher on your reservation. We need nurses. We need, psychologists. There's a whole range of things that we need. But again, you're going to tell your story. You're going to describe any personal challenges that you might have faced. How did you overcome these challenges? Are there going to, be barriers to success? You can say, yeah, my family doesn't have a lot of money. I'm going to be living in the dorms, but, I'm going to have access to the libraries. Just you can basically talk about things that you're thinking about. One college scholarship asks you to design a t-shirt that describes you. So using any combination of logos, designs, and statements, what would be on your t-shirt? So there's a whole bunch of different things that you can think about when you're applying to these scholarships. And there are some amazing scholarships out there. Right now, the Cobell Scholarship, there's the American Indian College Fund, the American Indian Graduate Center just got, millions of dollars from Mackenzie Bezos, the founder of Amazon. And so she's funding the American Indian Graduate Center. They have scholarships for both undergraduates and graduate students. Eastern Washington University, I'm a professor at Eastern Washington University. They've extended their deadline to March 1st. So go on ewu.edu and type in scholarships, and then there's a list of scholarships that you can apply to. The University of Washington has some scholarships that you can apply to. University of Idaho, there's a Tribal Excellence Scholarship. Community College of Spokane Foundation, Northwest Indian Housing Association Youth Scholarship. So there's all kinds of scholarships that are available. Even if you're a descendant, there's some scholarships that are available. under Indian Health Service. And of course, we are not limited to tribal scholarships. You can go out there and that money is available for you to go to school. We support you. We're here for you. At any of the universities, there's tribal folks that are professors, that are support staff. Just reach out and we're here for you. So I say lemlemsh, and I wish you good luck. If you need anything, I'll be at Eastern Washington University. Reach out to me. I teach in the urban planning program. We have a whole tribal planning curriculum, and we're happy to support you. So lemlemsh, Cheshel Holt, have a good day. And everybody, Auntie Margot saying peace out, and I'll see you at college.